Tonight, dueling rallies divide a green country community.
It is meant to be a biblical response to the Pride movement.
It kind of made me sad that there was an event being planned purposely to make it so that we're not together.
We're hearing from people of faith on both sides of a heated debate.
Oklahoma's own News on 6 starts now.
Tonight, two groups are at odds in a struggle over the values of their town. Good evening, I'm Taylor Newcomb. This afternoon, Oklahomans for Equality hosted a pride picnic in Bartlesville for only the second time ever. At the same time, some churches in the area held a competing picnic called the Humility Picnic, just on the other side of town. News on 6's Eric Payne was at both today. He has our top story.
This is the second year for the Pride Picnic at Johnston Park. Organizers say about 300 to 400 people showed up. It's a relaxed, family-friendly event for the hundreds who are here today. There are plenty of outdoor games, music, and food.
Our goal is just to come together and have a good time.
Reverend Kelly Becker is the senior minister of Disciples Christian Church. She's also a board member with Oklahomans for Equality in Bartlesville. Becker says there's people of all backgrounds here to have a good time.
This is an opportunity for us to gather to celebrate inclusion and diversity and love.
Across town at the same exact time as the Pride Picnic, a few hundred are having their own picnic in response, called Humility Picnic. The slogan here, love is not proud. Thomas Lowry is with Cavalry Chapel in Bartlesville.
We have a dozen churches, university, several parachurch organizations that are gathered here today.
Speakers include Laura Perry, who says she is formerly transgender, and author Stephen Black, who says he has been set free from homosexuality.
We need to come and humble ourselves before the Lord.
Lowry says it's a biblical response to the movement, and theirs is about loss.
Each person who comes to Christ has to lose something. They lose a part of themselves, and the Pride movement is about adding to self, and the humility movement is about decreasing self.
Back over at the Pride Picnic, Reverend Becker says the community will never be whole unless everyone feels safe and like they have a place to belong.
When I first heard about it, my first reaction was sadness, because our goal is to bring people together, so it kind of made me sad that there was an event being planned purposely to make it so that we're not together.
In Bartlesville, Eric Payne, Oklahoma's own News on 6.
Green Country continues to clean up after historic flooding took its toll on much of the area. Today, members of Church on the Move gathered at Tulsa's Mohawk Park to pick up trash and debris. The group says this isn't the first time they've turned out to clean up the Bird Creek area. They plan to continue as help is needed.
Well, Hurricane Barry turned tropical storm continues to spin its way through Louisiana. Its impact already being felt across Green Country in a limited way. Right now, the center is just near Lafayette, Louisiana, and it's moving to the north-northwest. We'll have more updates on Barry coming up, but the outer influence are these bands of light showers pushing through Tahlequah and Muskogee. Really just sprinkles at this point, but they will continue to be around for the next hour or so. Today, though, was a hot one area-wide. Despite additional clouds, we made it up to 92 degrees around Tulsa. A little bit of a warm-up from yesterday. 91 Muskogee, 91 as well in Pryor. And this evening, we're still quite muggy. 89 in downtown Tulsa, 90 in Broken Arrow. And the heat index value is still topping 100, especially in Broken Arrow and Sapulpa. So you want to take it easy outdoors. But as we move forward, Barry is going to make a close pass to Green Country. We'll talk about the impacts, including some showers that we'll have to dodge over the next few days. And then triple-digit heat. It's showing up in that 9-day forecast, which I'll have ahead.
All right, Mike, thanks for the update. The search continues for two suspects in Bartlesville's most recent homicide. Officers are still looking for Dalton Taylor and Stoney Bolin in connection to the shooting death of Daniel Speck in an alley. They say someone tipped them off that Taylor was taken to the Flying J truck stop on I-44 near 129th East Avenue in Tulsa last night, and he may still be in the area. Investigators also say they have tracked down the pickup that was seen speeding away from the scene in the garage of a home near Adams and Madison. Officers say the same house was the scene of another deadly shooting back in May. We're getting a look at newly released video of the arrest of a person accused of stealing a car with 2 Oklahoma children inside. OKC police arrested James Acosta on Wednesday. Investigators say this surveillance video shows Acosta look around to make sure no one's watching before he jumps in the car and drives off. Acosta was arrested after taking police on a chase through the city. Listen to what he had to say when officers catch up with him.
I'm taking him home. I'm taking him home.
Fortunately, the kids are okay. Officers say there was no connection between Acosta and the family. A Sapulpa police captain is grateful tonight, hours after getting released from an Oklahoma City hospital after a liver transplant. News on 6's Kristen Weaver sat down with him and has the details new this evening.
Glenn Coffey was released from the Integris Baptist Medical Center just a few short hours ago. He tells me the process was exhausting, but he is so grateful it was a success. Now, Coffey's father had to get a liver transplant about 13 years ago, and last year Coffey was diagnosed with liver disease and began showing symptoms. He was put on the transplant list in April, and he got a call last Saturday that an Oklahoma City hospital had a liver for him. Coffey got surgery Sunday and has been recovering ever since. He says the support from his family and the community is unbelievable, and he is more than thankful for that donor.
I mean, we're super excited about this opportunity that's been given to me. We're super thankful for the family and the donor, and I obviously cannot thank them enough.
Coffey is now staying in an Oklahoma City hotel. He says he's making great progress recovering so far and could be out as soon as just a few short weeks. In Oklahoma City, Kristen Weaver, Oklahoma Zone, News on 6.
Heavy rains, high winds, and a dangerous storm surge continues for parts of the Louisiana Gulf Coast tonight. Barry made landfall in Louisiana today as a hurricane, but soon reverted back to being a tropical storm. Hillary Lane is in Morgan City, close to where Barry arrived, with a look at conditions right now.
Barry hit the Louisiana coast Saturday as a Category 1 hurricane, but quickly weakened to a tropical storm. Still, the storm is forecast to dump heavy and potentially dangerous rain along the Gulf for days.
Rainfall remains the primary hazard. The vast majority of the rain that's falling right now is falling in the Gulf. That will soon change as the storm continues to move north.
Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards says 10 to 15 inches of rain is expected, with pockets of higher amounts. The rain presents a test of the flood prevention systems New Orleans built after Hurricane Katrina 14 years ago. Edwards says no levees have failed or breached. This levee just south of New Orleans in Myrtle Grove was one of several that have overtopped. It's not a key levee protecting the Mississippi River. Barry made landfall Saturday near Morgan City, about 50 miles south of Baton Rouge.
Saturated grounds and heavy winds have caused trees, signs like this one, and power lines to come toppling down, leaving thousands in the dark.
I'm really nervous. I work in a nursing home. They all evacuated, so kind of wishing we would have went with them.
The Coast Guard rescued several people by helicopter in Terrebonne Parish after it was cut off by rising water. Floodwaters from Lake Pontchartrain filled the streets of Mandeville, some 30 miles north of New Orleans. Many houses within a few blocks of the lake are elevated to protect them from storms, just like Barry. Hillary Lane, CBS News, Morgan City, Louisiana.
Our Oklahoma weather experts say remnants of Barry could make it all the way to our Osage Casino Skycam network. Mike has a timeline and tells us how much of an impact that could have. And next, teams gather to battle it out on the dodgeball court, and it's all for a good cause. Dodgeball teams from all over the area had the chance to compete on the big stage today. Teams of 6 put on their sweatbands and headed to the BOK for the 8th annual Dodgeball tournament. Each team plays for the charity or nonprofit of their choice, but even though it's for a good cause, these guys get competitive.
Pretty much from the time it ended last year, when we ended in a little bit of disappointment towards the end, so we're looking to redeem ourselves a little bit and try and have a little bit more fun this year.
If you missed out on the dodgeball action today, don't worry, there's still time to train and put your teams together for next year. A Green Country substitute teacher and former Tulsa police officer can hear life clearly again, and it's all thanks to News on 6 viewers. Robert Randolph was nominated through our Gift of Hearing giveaway in partnership with Cleartone. Here's his story.
I was on the police force 30 years with Tulsa. I did a 4-month stint as interim chief of Mounds in 2012, and right now I'm working as a reserve officer at Tulsa Community College.
He's a 30-year veteran of the Tulsa Police Department, and now he's a volunteer substitute teacher at Collinsville, and the students there call him Mr. Bob.
My first calling was police work. My second calling is working with children. Children have a way of turning away from you while they're talking, and I'd have to get them to look at me. That's when I really realized it. I was wary of even getting checked, but afraid that I really needed the hearing aids, and our insurance didn't cover that.
We've been really blessed where we've had an opportunity now to give back to people, and so we started this contest because we realized there was a lot of people out there that just didn't have the means to pay for hearing aids. It's so funny because when these people come in, they think, what's the catch, you know, how much is this really going to cost, and they end up coming in and find out the bill really is $0. So that's always a fun thing to do, be able to give somebody something that makes such a difference in their lives.
I've been treated like a king here. I mean, my family was treated like royalty. I mean, I don't know any better way of putting it. I'd really like to thank Cleartone and the News on 6 for doing this for me. It truly is a gift. I can hear so much better. This time of year, hearing Travis Meyer telling us to run for cover or say, "Where's Bob?" it's truly a gift from God.
And over at East Central High School, around 20 or so former college and current high school athletes took part in the Oklahoma Throw Series. The event allowed high school athletes to learn the art of the hammer throw, and for the former college athletes, it gave an opportunity to improve to get set for the USA Track Championships, which take place in 2 weeks in Iowa.
What this whole thing's about is to have a sanctioned event to provide opportunity. You know, next year is the Olympic trials, and so they're working towards that.
I like the javelin.
I don't know if I can do it. Do you think you could do that?
I could do it, but probably not well.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
Or accurately.
I can do that. I said that about a lot of things. I could do it, but not well.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
So News on 6 starts now with breaking news.
We begin with breaking news tonight as Tulsa police are looking for a missing 8-year-old girl. Take a good look at her picture here. This is Malaysia Gilly. She's 4'1" with a slim build and has long black braided hair. Tulsa police say she was last seen at Lacey Park wearing dark jeans and a dark shirt. Officers say she was last heard from around 4 this afternoon. Please call Crime Stoppers with any more information. And more breaking news tonight. We've learned a man drowned on Lake Eufaula in McIntosh County. OHP tells us 67-year-old Carl Dobson jumped out of his boat and into the water and started having chest pains. A passenger on the boat said Dobson went under and never resurfaced. We're following breaking news out of New York where a major power outage is happening now. This is a live look from Manhattan where you can see some lights are back on. The outage affected traffic signals and subway service and even canceled a concert at Madison Square Garden. We're told the blackout started around 7 and is affecting thousands, including businesses in Times Square. Today is the 42nd anniversary of the infamous 1977 blackout. The search continues tonight for 2 suspects in Bartlesville's most recent homicide. Officers are still looking for Dalton Taylor and Stoney Bolin in connection to the shooting death of Daniel Speck in an alley. They say someone tipped them off that Taylor, who you can see on your screen right here, was taken to the Flying J truck stop on I-44 near 129th East Avenue in Tulsa last night, and he may still be in the area. Investigators have tracked down the pickup that was seen speeding away from the scene in the garage of a home near Adams and Madison. That same house was the scene of another deadly shooting back in May. Another warm day is coming to a close as the summer heat continues to take its toll on people here in Green Country. IMSA issued another medical heat alert today after paramedics responded to 5 suspected heat-related calls here in the Tulsa area. To avoid heat-related illness, first responders want people to limit their time outdoors if possible. A Sapulpa police captain is out of the hospital tonight after getting a new liver last weekend. News on 6's Kristen Weaver sat down with him at his Oklahoma City hotel today. She joins us live in Sapulpa now with how he's recovering. Kristen?
Glenn Coffey says he is grateful tonight, grateful for the person who gave him a new liver, grateful for the community here in Sapulpa, and of course for his family as he continues to recover. Glenn Coffey didn't realize how much of an impact he had on those around him until recently.
I've got to see a lot of kids raised. I've got to meet a lot of families. And there are just a lot of good people that truly live in Sapulpa.
The Sapulpa police captain has been with the department for 20 years and served the community as a school resource officer. This year, it came time for them to serve him.
It's truly amazing and truly a blessing.
About a year ago, Coffey started showing signs of liver disease. His father got a transplant 13 years ago. In April, he was added to the list to get a new liver.
You're never not going to know exactly what number you are on there, but you know, you need to be ready. You could get a call at any time.
That call from an Oklahoma City hospital came Saturday as him and his wife Brandy were sitting down to eat at home.
We have a liver that we want to offer you.
By Sunday morning, Coffey was in surgery. He spent the past week recovering, with hundreds visiting him and showing love and support, with the message that they like their coffee strong.
The doctor's like, I'm going to have to get you out of here. He goes, there's no more room for any cards.
He says God, continual prayers from his community, and his wife and sons got him through.
Obviously, I get a lot of attention through this, but I can't do it without my family. One day at a time, but we'll get there.
Coffey says he is recovering well and he could be home as soon as just a few weeks from now. Live in Sapulpa, Kristen Weaver, Oklahoma's own News on 6.
All right, Kristen, thank you. We're getting a look at newly released video of the arrest of a person accused of stealing a car with 2 Oklahoma children inside. OKC police arrested James Acosta on Wednesday. Investigators say this surveillance video right here shows Acosta looking around to make sure no one's watching before he jumps in the car and takes off. Acosta was arrested after taking police on a chase through the city. Listen to his excuse as officers catch up with him.
I'm taking him home. I'm taking him home. Hey, hold on. I'm taking him home, man. They were left by themselves.
Fortunately, the kids are okay. Officers say there was no connection between Acosta and the family. Well, heavy rain, high winds, and a dangerous storm surge continues to threaten near the Louisiana Gulf Coast tonight. Barry made landfall in Louisiana today as a hurricane, but soon weakened back to a tropical storm. Still, the storm is predicted to dump heavy and potentially dangerous rain along the Gulf Coast for days. Our Oklahoma weather experts say there's a chance some of that rain could make it all the way here to Green Country. Only on 6 tonight, dueling rallies divide a Green Country community.
It kind of made me sad that there was an event being planned purposely to make it so that we're not together.
Find out what's behind a heated debate in Bartlesville and how one of the Thunder's best-known fans is dealing with the loss of one of the NBA's best players.
And the heat was on, but not out of character for this time of year. Lower 90s for highs, but as we move forward, of course, all eyes on Barry and where it goes from here. I'll let you know where it's heading in the newest track coming up, along with the tropical downpours that are possible because of Barry. And then after that comes triple-digit heat. Are you ready for it? Well, I'll have the details on that and when it shows up in your forecast ahead.
Updating breaking news right now. Dispatch confirms police have found missing 8-year-old Malaysia Gilly. We're told she is safe tonight. She went missing earlier this afternoon at Lacey Park. Fortunately, officers, like we said, have found her tonight. One of the Thunder's biggest fans is coming to grips with what could be a rocky rebuild. John Bling, also known as Thunder Boy Wonder, has 2 classic cars wrapped in Thunder history. Although it's tough to see stars like Russell Westbrook and Paul George go, Bling says he's not giving up on his team.
I know they're going to switch out parts to build another team, and I'm going to have to rally these new guys to get, to stay thundered up no matter what, to keep myself rolling.
Still, Bling says he'll always have a special love for Russ. Dodgeball teams from all over the area had the chance to compete on the big stage today. Teams of 6 put on their sweatbands and headed to the BOK for the 8th annual Dodgeball tournament. Each team plays for the charity or nonprofit of their choice. Well, our Oklahoma weather experts are tracking near triple-digit heat coming to the Osage Casino Skycam network. When we'll see the worst of the summer swelter. Plus,
it is meant to be a biblical response to the Pride movement.
One group's response to a gay pride event in their town and what people on both sides are saying tonight. Only on 6 tonight, two groups at odds in a struggle over the values of their town. This afternoon, Oklahomans for Equality hosted a pride picnic in Bartlesville for only the second time ever. At the same time, some churches in the area held a competing picnic called the Humility Picnic, just on the other side of town. News on 6's Eric Payne was at both today and has the story.
It's a relaxed, family-friendly event for the hundreds who are here today. There are plenty of outdoor games, music, and food.
Our goal is just to come together and have a good time.
Reverend Kelly Becker is the senior minister of Disciples Christian Church. She's also a board member with Oklahomans for Equality in Bartlesville. Becker says there's people of all backgrounds here to have a good time.
This is an opportunity for us to gather to celebrate inclusion and diversity and love.
Across town at the same exact time as the Pride Picnic, a few hundred are having their own picnic in response, called Humility Picnic. The slogan here, love is not proud. Thomas Lowry is with Cavalry Chapel in Bartlesville.
We have a dozen churches, university, several parachurch organizations that are gathered here today.
Speakers include Laura Perry, who says she is formerly transgender, and author Stephen Black, who says he has been set free from homosexuality.
We need to come and humble ourselves before the Lord.
Lowry says it's a biblical response to the movement, and theirs is about loss.
Each person who comes to Christ has to lose something. They lose a part of themselves, and the Pride movement is about adding to self, and the humility movement is about decreasing self.
Back over at the Pride Picnic, Reverend Becker says the community will never be whole unless everyone feels safe and like they have a place to belong.
When I first heard about it, my first reaction was sadness, because our goal is to bring people together, so it kind of made me sad that there was an event being planned purposely to make it so that we're not together.
In Bartlesville, Eric Payne, Oklahoma's own News on 6.
With the Olympics just a year away, athletes are hoping to make Team USA and represent our country. Today at East Central High School, a handful of those star athletes were on display. Dan Hawk explains.
It's all about getting results at the end of the day.
Checking boxes and improving distance.
Good.
Keeping the correct form intact. Go! All while keeping that dream alive of competing for Team USA in the Olympics.
That's what I'm going for, all or nothing.
Around 20 or so former college athletes and current high schoolers took part in the Oklahoma Throw Series at East Central High School, all hoping to improve at the hammer throw.
Get out there! Come on! I know I was about 3 meters under my PR. Just all about consistency and still building.
Hold it. Good. Oh, almost.
Events like this also give an opportunity to teach high schoolers the sport of hammer throw, an event that is not allowed at the high school level.
That's what this whole thing's about, is to have a sanctioned event to provide opportunity for our youth to possibly get to college.
All in all, practice makes perfect.
It's another meet, and I got to just get consistent with everything that I do, and the Olympics is down the road, but this helps.
Oklahoma's own Dan Hawk.
Good.
News on 6 Sports.
I still want to see the javelin.
I also want to know why
thing.
Dan didn't get out there.
Missed opportunity.
Calling him out right now.
Yeah,
we want
I would
to
like
see it
to
next
see
time.
that young Daniel.
All right,
Let's pick it
thanks,
up.
Jonathan. We'll be right back.